Before I knew what was happening, it was at 50,000 views, then 60,000 views, then 100,000 views. And I share this to you, not to say, ooh, this is what I did, but to tell you this is what I did and to break it down so you can see how to do it too.
Hi, docs. Welcome to the EntreMD podcast, where it's all about helping amazing physicians just like you embrace entrepreneurship so you can have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on your terms. I'm your host, Dr. Una.
1 million views on YouTube. We just hit 1 million views on YouTube on a YouTube channel that I started 18 months ago. Okay. So this is like super exciting, super big milestone. I'm excited about it. And I wanted to come share with you the top 10 strategies that got us to 1 million views in 18 months. Okay. This is going to blow your mind. It's going to be so simple that you can start implementing it. And this is the reason why it's so important. As a physician, whether you are a physician who is running a business in healthcare or outside of healthcare, or you're an employed physician working on your brand, we need your voice out there. You have the best stories, great expertise, right? So much to share. And we live in a time of unprecedented misinformation. Again, whether you're in healthcare or you're outside of healthcare, I would love nothing for you to build a brand, build a platform where you can exercise your thought leadership, change the world. YouTube is such an amazing platform for it. I've always had the EntreMD podcast, and the EntreMD podcast is something that you guys love, you've subscribed to, you listen to year after year. I get so many stories about how it changes your life and all of those things. And so when it came to YouTube, I'm like, man, I need to go crack this YouTube thing so I can come back and tell you how exactly you can do it. But I'm not going to do it on EntreMD because you guys love the podcast. I'm going to do it with a different business. And so I did this with my faith-based channel. It's called Success by the Book. And we just crossed this. So I can come back and tell you exactly how to do it. Every one of my businesses is a lab, and it's a lab for you. So I go do experiments. I come tell you how it works. And that is exactly what we're going to do today. So get ready. 10 strategies, okay? 10 strategies that got us there. Okay. So the first strategy is that I talk to one person. Okay. I talk to one person. So this channel is a faith-based channel. The history of it is I ran away from being a Christian for a really long time, because my interpretation of Christian was, then that means you cannot be successful. You need to be humble and broke and all of those things. And the Bible is a religious book that's full of do's and don'ts. And if I decide to become a Christian, God is going to make me go to some foreign country and die of some disease, right? This was my picture. Then I discovered that the Bible, in my mind, is the greatest book on success. And so I was like, wow, I wish people knew this, right? And I knew there were people like me who were running away because they're like, this is not relevant to my life. This is just religion, all of this stuff. I'm like, no. This is great. Okay. So I talked to one person, and this person is a person who is a Christian and wants to live a very successful life at the same time. And so I show that person from the Bible the prescribed way to get there. Okay, so I talked to one person. I didn't talk to random people. I didn't talk to a different person every day. I talked to that person. I'm like, listen, success by the book. You look at the book, you can succeed in all 9 areas of your life. One person, just that one person. Now, why is this important? Because one of the biggest mistakes I see when people start platforms, whether that's a podcast or YouTube or whatever, especially if it's an interview show, what happens is then they just start interviewing random people about random things. And it's almost as though they've forgotten that they're talking to one person, and they just start doing things that they think are interesting. If you want to build a loyal base of subscribers and people who will come back week after week, month after month, episode after episode, then you have to define who the person you talk to is. And every time you put on your mic, you talk to that person. I have had this YouTube channel for 18 months. We have had about 250 videos that have gone up. And in those 250 videos, I have talked to one person. That's the first thing. How do we get to that many views? First thing, talk to one person. Second thing, the content was transformational. I never came up there to blow hot air. I never came up there to waste people's time. For me, I'm like, man, they're going to give me a gift. I had videos as long as an hour and a half. I have videos that are 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but I go live every Monday, and that is for an hour. And so if someone's going to show up every week in the middle of their day to give me an hour of their time, or they're going to catch the replay and watch for an hour, I am not going to waste their time. And so what that means is I started with the end in mind. I want somebody to watch this video, and by the time they are done watching the video, they walk away transformed. I want somebody to be able to say, I want to change. And so because I want to change, I'm going to go sit down and watch this video. And at the end of this video, I'll be a different person. This is my intent. That's where I start from. And so I'm like, okay, what problem are they having? What is the solution to that problem? What are stories that I have in my own life or stories that I have in the lives of other people that I've worked with or stories from the Bible that will show them they can overcome this? What is the call to action I can give them that will help them take the next best step so that after they take this step, they will experience a change in their lives? What is the thing that I will tell them that would crush the biggest limiting belief that they have? Do you see, this is the way I thought. So every piece of content was transformational. In fact, somebody just posted recently when I said, hey, we're only 3,000 views away from 1 million. And the person is like, and by far, this is the best channel that I subscribe to, something to that term. And this is a physician entrepreneur. Okay. So it speaks to what I'm telling you about transformational content. Okay. So the content was transformational. That's the second thing. And maybe you hear this and maybe it's even a little intimidating for you. It was like, well, that's you, Dr. Una. I don't know if I can create that kind of content. Transformational content is not about being a genius and saying transformational things. That is not what it's about. It's about leaning into the person you talk to, being aware of the problems they solve, the problems they have, and coming to solve them. Being aware of the questions they have, and you're coming to answer them. Being aware of the fears that they have, and you're showing them how they can overcome it. Being aware of simple mistakes that they're making and showing them, ooh, there's a better way. It's not about being a genius. It's about having a heart to help people. That's what it's about. So I don't want you to hear this and say, oh yeah, good for you. I want you to know that you can do this. It's about intention. It's about intention. Okay. Okay. So that's the second thing. The third thing is consistent content. Okay. People will not build a routine around a routine you didn't build. So if you're saying, oh, I would love for people to subscribe to my channel, watch all my videos, listen to all my podcasts, all of those things, but they cannot predict when you're going to show up, they're not going to build a routine around it. The first time I learned this from the EntreMD podcast. I didn't know anything about anything when I started the EntreMD podcast. This was 6 years ago at this time. Oh, well, almost 6 years ago. And I remember I would have an episode every Monday. And I was like, I'm just going to do every Monday. Actually, when we started, it was Monday and Thursday. I'm going to have an episode every Monday and Thursday till whenever. And then I said, oh, wait a minute. I'll just commit to that. I don't know how this is going to work. And I was talking to somebody and the person said, oh, you're my commute to work on Monday. Why could they say that? Because there was an episode every Monday. Somebody else said, you're my walk with my dog on Monday evenings. So this person comes back from work, grabs her dog, they go on a walk, she's listening to the podcast. Do you see that? Now, people started building routines around what was my routine. This is when I learned that. And so when I did this, I started initially by releasing a pre-recorded video every Monday, but it is so much easier for me to do it live than to pre-record it. And there's a community aspect. I can shout people out and I can hear their questions in real time and bring some answers and all of this stuff. The energy of a live experience is just different. And for me, it's a zone of strength, okay? Because I go live a minimum of 9 times a week. Like I'm showing up and doing some kind of live thing 9 times a week. So this is my jam, okay? So if pre-record is your thing, you can do it. You lean into what is the strength of yours. If you haven't discovered what your strength is yet, just own something. Doesn't matter. So then I started going live every Monday. And there has been a video every Monday for 18 months. Now, some Thursdays we've had a second video and stuff like that. But Monday, every Monday, clockwork is happening. Okay. All right. So consistent content. If you will build a routine, they will build a routine around it. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, relentless promotion. Okay, if you are going to create content, understand that your content will need 2 things. It will need you creating it and it will need you promoting it. If you're not going to promote it, don't do it because it's not going to go anywhere. Nobody's going to listen to it. Nobody's going to find it. So you promote it. When you look at the biggest podcasts, right? Like Joe Rogan, I don't personally follow him, so I don't know what he does to promote his podcast. But I do follow Diary of a CEO. I mean, this is one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And he still shows up every time to say, subscribe to the YouTube channel. He still shows up every time in the comments to say, if you like this, subscribe and share it with somebody else. He still does multiple reels to draw people in so they can go get the full episode. He still does this every single week. And it's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. It's top 3. I don't remember if it's 2 or 3. And so if he's doing that, it is an exceptionally interesting amount of pride for us to think we don't have to do this, right? For us to think our content is so good that we don't have to do this. No, you can have transformational content, but if it's transformational content that nobody sees, it's not transformational because nobody saw it. So relentless promotion. So for me, what that looks like is I have a community where every Monday, I'm like, hey, I'm going live. Remember, come catch it, share it with your friends, all of those things. I come back on Tuesday. Oh my goodness, the live yesterday was mind blowing. You need to go watch it if you haven't watched it. And it's transformational. And I know it will solve problems because that was my intent. So selling it is not hard because I'm like, guys, you're dealing with XYZ. This is the antidote. Go watch it. And I would tell them, like, we're on a mission to help people, right? So when you watch it, pay it forward, share it with somebody else. Comments, right? Because it makes the algorithm happy and it'll show it to more people. So relentless promotion. And we send out an email every Monday or Tuesday to say, this is a video, go watch it. And when do we do this? Every week, every single week. Okay. So we're promoting. Somebody comes to me, they say, I have this problem. I'm like, pull up YouTube. And I pull up a video. I'm like, go watch that. And then we'll talk, right? Because I'm solving problems. So I'm like, here, go listen to it. That's number 4, relentless promotion. And let me just stop and say this because people sometimes I feel like I'm bothering people. People should know. They've watched a really good one from me, so they shouldn't need me to remind them every time. This is human nature. It's not one-time promotion. It's not one-off promotion. It's not promotion till you get your first viral video. It's relentless promotion. Okay? All right. So that's number 4. Number 5. Now, the things that I've talked about are things that they help all of it. And your relentless promotion is talking about organic reach. But what I found is that if you get the algorithm on your side, the algorithm will do an unbelievable amount of promotion for you. Okay. So we're going to talk about the next 4 things we're going to talk about are things that make the algorithm happy. So the algorithm will promote it for you because the algorithm has access to billions of people. You have access to whoever's in your audience. So for me, that looks like about between 10 and 12,000 people, right? But the algorithm has billions of people. Okay, so we want to make the algorithm happy. Okay, so number 5 is thumbnail optimization. Before I started doing YouTube, I just thought, thumbnail, make it pretty, whatever, right? The thing about your thumbnail is that there are millions and millions and millions of videos that go up on YouTube, right? And your thumbnail is what will first make somebody stop, what will make them stop the scroll. And so if you're going to pay attention to the actual content, what you say, you also want to pay attention to what will stop the people from scrolling so they can listen to what you have to say, right? And so thumbnail optimization. So in the beginning for us, we were just throwing things on there. And then I started learning and I learned that basically what the algorithm wants is for you to get people to stop their scroll, click on a title, watch a video, watch another video. That's what they're looking for. So thumbnail is the thing that will make them stop the scroll. And so I started learning this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And I started looking at videos that did really well. What did their thumbnails look like, right? They had fewer words. They were in bold. They used contrast. They didn't use whole bodies. They used more face and all of this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So we started experimenting. So YouTube, for what I do with it, is the great experiment, okay? So the great experiment. So we're experimenting with different things to see what works, but you have to pay attention to your thumbnail. So we pay attention to the thumbnail and even the caption, the words on the thumbnail. I used to think before I started doing the title, the thumbnail, same thing, whatever. No, the thumbnail stops the scroll. The title sells them on why, like, yes, you were right, like click on it. Right? And so they're 2 different things. And so if I'm going to pay attention to what the actual content is, I'm going to pay attention to what words I want on the thumbnail. And I'm going to pay attention on what words I want on the title, which is number 6 is the next thing, right? So I pay attention. So when I create an outline, the outline includes the thumbnail caption. Like I give it thought, right? I give it thoughts. When I'm scrolling through YouTube, I pay attention to the thumbnails that grab my attention. I'll give you an example. On YouTube, there's this whole thing of trending captions, right? For thumbnails, where there's a caption that takes off and you'll see different people use it. Like, thousands of people use it like in different ways, but it's the same thumbnail caption. So before my birthday, I saw a thumbnail title that actually blew my mind. This was right before my birthday. And I saw a video. It was an outlier for this person. So I don't have the exact numbers, but I'll give you an example of what an outlier means. So let's say she had 7,000, 10,000 views per video. But in this video, she hit 2 million. I was like, wait, what happened? And then this is what the thumbnail caption said, because it made me stop. Okay. It said, "Don't waste your life," exclamation mark. Okay. That's what it said. And then it said, I'll tell you what I used mine for. Like, it took me 40 plus years to realize what I'll tell you in 17 minutes. That was the framework. So don't waste your life. And then it took me 40 plus years to realize what I'll tell you in 17 minutes. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I didn't even know it was trending. I'm like, this is brilliant. So what I did is I didn't watch the video because what I was studying for was, thumbnails and all that stuff. I didn't watch the video. It's not somebody that I follow, but I took the same caption, "Don't waste your life," right? Exclamation mark. I was about to turn 46. And of course I do a video. Like, I usually reflect the lessons I've learned, all those kind of things. So I would usually do a video around my birthday. And so I took this. It took me 40 plus years to realize what I'll tell you in X, because I wouldn't know until I'm done with the video, right? Like how long the video will be. And so then I started talking about, it's actually a really good video. I started talking about the biggest lesson I learned is that my greatest assignment is to become. Every time I change, everything changes. And so there's no point trying to change the external stuff. There's sometimes no point of trying to say, like, I've been trying to do this, I always procrastinate, all that. Like, if you're procrastinating, like, there's someone you haven't become. You haven't become the person who does that kind of thing. And because you don't do that kind of thing, you don't have the thing, right? I did that recorded. It took 17 minutes, right? So it took me 40 plus years to realize what I'll tell you in 17 minutes. And that video, I think we had 6,000 views on it, which at the time, period, that was good for my channel, right? And so that video did really, really well. What was that? That was just me paying attention to the thumbnail to optimize, right? Like, how do you optimize? What kind of thumbnails work? So some of them, I'm like, oh, that's so good. I don't copy the content, right? Like, till today, I haven't even watched the video, but I'm like, that's exactly the container that I can put this other thing in. And if you look, you'll see that, like all over. So that was that piece. So thumbnail optimization. The next thing was title optimization. And it's the same as a thumbnail in the sense that you pay attention to it. You don't just randomly say 5 things that would, like what you're teaching, because we're teachers, right? It's just not an outlet, a summary of your content. It's like, how do I need to position this in such a way that somebody will click? How do I need to position this in such a way that somebody's like, oh my goodness, this is the solution for the problem I've been facing. Like, how do I position it that way? So that's what we did for title optimization, and started playing around with those things, the things that get attention of people, the things that will make them click and all of that. Because again, what does the algorithm want? Stop the scroll, get them to click, get them to watch that video, get them to watch another video. Okay. So that's number 6 is title optimization. Number 7, 30-second retention optimization. Now, so for this piece, if you look at YouTube analytics, if you already have a YouTube channel, you'll see that it does measure how many people are still watching at the 30-second mark, because the attention span there is so short. Like, people are kind of checking it out. Do I want to watch this and all those things? So which means you can't just get in, oh, my name is Dr. Una, I'm a board certified pediatrician. Like, click. Nobody, like, no. Your first 30 seconds are not for you to introduce yourself. The 30 seconds is for you to convince them on why they should watch your video, right? So for instance, the last one I did before this video was brainwash yourself for success. And in that video, I started by saying, you have been programmed. Pause. And people will go like, wait, program what? What do you mean? Oh, you've been brainwashed. You have been brainwashed. They're like, brainwashed? What do you mean? Who brainwashed me? What does that mean? Am I being manipulated? All this stuff. I was like, you have been brainwashed. And that may be because of how you were raised or where you grew up or the experiences that you've had and all of that. And that has shaped you into the person who thinks the way you think, into the person who acts the way you act. And so you have what you have. Everybody's being brainwashed. There's no such thing as a person who's their own person. You may hear people say, I'm my own man. No, you're not. You've been brainwashed. But since you know that, I'm going to show you today how you can hijack that system and brainwash your own self for success. And if I was going to do an introduction, I can then say, hey, I'm Dr. Una. This is what I do, XYZ. But that's what that 30-second block is for. Now, if you're going to pay attention to the outline of the content, what you're going to teach, all of these things, you're also going to pay attention to the thumbnail caption, to the title. Then you're also going to pay attention to how am I going to open the 30 seconds. And people who are great on YouTube will literally spend an hour, 2 hours working on the 30 seconds to open the video. Like really, okay? So we've had videos that have had retention rates in the 70s, in the 80s. We actually had one that was 92. It was so good. The higher that is, the more the YouTube algorithm is like, oh, this is good. People really like it. Let's show it to more people. Now, as they show it to more people, the number will drop a little bit because, like it can be a little random. But if it's not high at all, they're not showing. Like if you start with, I'm a board certified pediatrician, and the reason why I wanted to be a pediatrician, let me break it to you. Nobody cares about you. Nobody cares. That's not why I did it. You don't go to YouTube to say, oh, I want to find a random person and find out, why they decided to be a pediatrician. They don't care. They are there because they had a problem. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I think about this? Why am I having an issue with this? That's why they're there. And so your 30 seconds is to tell them why they should listen because you have the answer for what they're looking for, right? Okay, so 30-second optimization, 30-second retention optimization. Number eight is the open loop, okay? Is the open loop. And what is the open loop? It's the bridge between the video they're watching and the next video you want them to watch. Now, this is something I do really, really well 50% of the time. I need to get better at it. But when I do it right, this is what I do. When I create the outline of what I want to talk about, in that video, I tell them about the next video they need to watch. Like what we're teaching now creates this other question. And the answer to that question is this on this other video, right? So you create a loop. So when somebody watches one video, they go to watch the next video. So for instance, I may be talking about how to map out your day, right? Time management strategies and stuff like that. And then I may say, but the starting point of all of this is you have to have your goals like clearly articulated because there's no way to plan your day effectively if you don't have a clear picture of where you're going ultimately. That's beyond the scope of what we're talking about today. But once we're done with this is the next video you want to watch, my goal setting workshop, blah, 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 right? And so that creates a bridge. Now, first of all, it's good for the people, right? If you're creating great content, it's good for them to watch your content. But second of all, what are you doing? For the algorithm, is seeing, ooh, thumbnail is good, people are clicking, people are stopping. Title is good, people are clicking. Content is good, people are watching the video, right? And then fourth is, ooh, after this, they're going to the next video. This is amazing. This is going to another video. And then it's like, show this video to everybody. Okay? So this is something that we do. So when I create the outline, part of the outline, my outline is not just the outline of what I'm going to say. It includes the thumbnail caption. It includes the title, includes the next video I want them to go watch. It's all in there. Okay. Number nine is retention strategies. Okay. It will also measure what percentage of your video they watch. Okay. It could be 20%, 30%, 40%, right? And all of this stuff. On average, what percentage of your video do they watch? The higher the percentage, the more people they will show it to. So there are retention strategies. For instance, if I come on and say, I'm going to show you 7 strategies that will help you save an extra 10 hours a week. Oh my goodness, you do not want to miss number 7. This is something that it was a mistake I was making every year for 15 years, but I finally figured it out, right? What have I done? I've set the stage where I've told you there's 7. I've told you you've got to listen to number 7. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to listen to all of it and get number 7. That's the other thing that we did so that they stay on. That's on a macro level if you want. Even on the micro level, I can say, okay, so strategy number 1, you're going to do strategy number 2. That I was about to get ahead of myself, but oh my goodness, I'm going to tell you this story right after this, right? So it means, oh, you listen to this, but you have to wait for the story. So there's a micro version, right? Okay. And this might sound like a lot, but once you start putting in the reps, these are things that you just start doing by default. So retention strategies. These all make the algorithm happy. And the algorithm is happy, it starts showing it to a lot of people. So for instance, we had a video, and this was a video on prayer. And this video, I had no clue was going to do well. In fact, it's so funny. It was something that I had taught in church. And I was just like, I don't feel like doing like a video today. Pull that, repurpose it, put it on here, boom. And so we put it on there. I don't remember what the 30-second retention rate was, but it was in the 80s, right? So it was super high. The thumbnail was good. The title was good. And before I knew what was happening, it was at 50,000 views, then 60,000 views, then 100,000 views. It is so funny that video was released in November of 2024. And except for 2 months this year, it has been the video that has had the most views every single month since then. It's like the gift that keeps giving. Okay, so in October, we got 28,000 views from that one video. Meanwhile, I have no video I released in October that had 28,000 views, right? But it made the algorithm really happy. Okay, and that leads me into number 10. And number 10 is do more of what works. It took me a number of months to get this. So I did that video, it was on prayer, and it exploded. I was doing videos on everything else, right? Strategies, this, time management, goal setting, all this kind of stuff. I didn't do another video on prayer, but it was like, if it worked well, do part 2. And so I did another video on prayer and it took off. Like, it was 10,000 views, then 20, then 30. I think now that video is about 60,000 views, but I did it many months after, right? And I was like, oh, it's either people have a lot of questions about that, or they're not sure how to do it, or they think it's controversial, or I don't know what it is. But the thing is, if it works, do it. And so if I wanted to have a video that did really, really well every single month, what would I do? I do a video on prayer every single month. That video on its own has brought in about 7,000 subscribers. And on the whole channel, I have 19,000 subscribers, right? 7 of them came from one video, right? And so when I do videos on prayer, that's the one that attracts the most new people, right? Attracts the most new people and all of those things. I was like, do more what works. For instance, I noticed when I do my pre-recorded videos, I get more new people. When I do my lives on Monday, I get more returning views, right? So new views, returning views. And so what is the principle? Do both. Like have your lives that go out and do your thing and you're maintaining your community and return viewers are coming. And then have your pre-recorded maybe on a Thursday and the people who've never heard about you will hear about you and then they'll join the Monday crew, right? So the thing is, you look at your analytics and you're looking for what's working and you do more of what's working and less of what isn't. This whole journey on YouTube has been an eye-opener for me because it's put us in a position where now I have the faith-based channel, right? Which I kind of wanted to have, but I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to fit that into my life. So I have that. The second thing is we have 1 million views. We have 19,000. Well, at the time when this is released would have crossed, we're 100 subscribers away from 20,000. So we have 20,000 subscribers. We have people who've watched the video in 84 countries. Can you imagine that? And one of my things I say all the time is I live a life of global impact. So this is so magical for me. Okay, so we have that. And we have so many people who are like, I never used to set goals. I didn't know how to manage time. I didn't know how to pray. I never used to read my Bible. I didn't know the word of God. There was any, private application for it. So many people. I've made so many new friends. So now if they come to Georgia, they'd come to our church and say, hey, I watched your Success by the Book. I just wanted to come say hi and meet you in person. I made so many new friends that way. And I've just had I've been able to create this legacy body of work that my kids can watch. My kids, how does mommy think? How did she learn what are the principles that made her who she is? They can look at that. And then for my faith-based community, it literally 10x the community, literally in less than 18 months. And so it's been so powerful for me. And I share this to you, not to say, ooh, this is what I did. It's so awesome. But to tell you this is what I did and to break it down so you can see how to do it too. I would want nothing more than for you to leverage a platform like YouTube, or if you're doing your podcast, that's fine too. I do that for EntreMD, the platform you're on. But if you can take this, you put yourself in a position where you can be a thought leader, you can impact so many people, you can open up so many doors, so many opportunities, and it will rock your world. As physicians, it's not uncommon for us to be quiet or to hide our voices or to feel like we don't have a voice. But you do have a voice. Back in the day, there were gatekeepers. There are no gatekeepers anymore. You can literally start with your phone, start a YouTube channel, and put in the work. Now, this is a snapshot of 18 months. So, of course, there were times when I wanted more views and I didn't have those views. Of course, there was a time I wanted the subscribers to grow faster and they didn't grow faster. Of course, you know me and you probably know that I would have set a goal to be at 1 million subscribers by now. But this is the deal. If you would say, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to spend the next 5 years, 10 years just getting really good at this, you can enjoy the journey. And then you can become really great at this, right? Because mastery is the goal. Mastery is the goal. Of course, it's about the result. but it's about the results in the quest for mastery. So I want to challenge you. Say yes to your journey if you haven't started it yet. Go all in on your journey if you already have, but leverage YouTube and use it to change your life, change the lives of so many people, expand your impact, expand your business, expand your thought leadership, open the doors for so many opportunities, because it will really change your life. And what I'd really appreciate, if you're like, oh my goodness, this was so good. I just loved it. It was so good. Share with the doctors in your world. Take it, share with at least 10 doctors. Tell them, oh my goodness, you need to watch this. You need to listen to this. All right. That's all the thank you. You can send me a DM and say, Doctor, when I shared it with 10 people, it was so good. And congratulations on 1 million views. Okay. All right. Rooting for you. And I'll see you on the next episode.